Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your agree, and I concur that the last time I was in Mozambique, I was given the keys, and I have it with me, for Maputo by the mayor.
Yes.
And I also signed for me a small certificate to be a citizen of Mozambique. So I will make use of my citizenship and the key when I come back.
Yes.
To appreciate that, as you said, the solid relationship between our two countries. You have people, the Makonde people, and many others who are doing business, taking advantage of our learning institutions in Kenya. You had a great moment with them last evening. And in the process of your visit to Kenya, you also found a brother of yours right here with the same height. Who serves in, and we were also told earlier, Mr. President, as you know, that in our midst we have Wangeshi from Moranga, your minister for Madame Dos Santos. She said she's Kenyan also from Moranga. And we found also your minister for Mr. Mohati is from Kakamega. We have many people using his name in a place called Kakamega.
Yes.
So we have a beautiful convergence there of many things. My minister for sports will tell you, while it is true that a majority of the runners come from the part of the country that I come from.
Yes.
And you have asked for the secret of how they do well. I can tell you, because I come from that region.
Yes.
First, as you say, they are very disciplined. They wake up early at 4 a.m. in the morning to run. They control what they eat, and they also use the gym. So those are the basics of how to. So, but anyway, let's take some. There's another big debate in Kenya.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So we
can take some one or two questions.
We have two questions, Your Excellencies, and I'll request that we do them back to back. Remember to say your name, the media house you represent, and keep the question as short and crisp as possible.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, my name is Melita Oletenges for Citizen TV. Mr. President, you've spoken to the global supply disruption by the war in the Middle East. Perhaps my question is, what alternatives is Kenya looking at in terms of avoiding the overdependence of these countries in the global markets that we particularly rely on for our exports and imports? Flowers have suffered a blow, coffee, tea, and now oil. Perhaps if you can speak to that. And President Chapo, my question to you is, Mozambique emerging as a key player in the gas industry, 100 million cubic discovered in Romvi region, I think. Is this now an opportunity for you to rise to the occasion and offer an alternative to the continent? Thank you.
Your Excellencies, my name is Giverson Minor from KBC. And my question is, owing to the fact that Kenya and even Mozambique, the population is youthful, and it forms bigger chunk of the population, and about close to 1 million young people graduate from TVETs and colleges and universities annually. What can the two countries, or in which areas of collaboration can the two countries partner to ensure or to exploit opportunities for the Kenyan youth and, of course, the youth in Mozambique? And my second to President Chapo, there's a lot of activities in matter of terrorism in Mozambique. The country is helping you, including Rwanda and other countries. This is one of the areas that President William Ruto will tell you we are expertise in this. We helping Haiti, we're helping Somalia to have peace. Do you think this is one of the areas maybe you could consider to request Kenya for assistance? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, thank you for the questions that have been asked. I will, on matters to do with fuel and our oil supplies, Minister Opiyo Wandayi already engaged with all the stakeholders in the fuel industry. We are already seized of that matter. There's been consultations, not just within Kenya, but also as a region. We've discussed with the regional partners on the interventions necessary for us to forestall any serious effects. The challenge of the Middle East crisis is going to pose to our economies, both in terms of fuel supply, commodity supply, which is a reality because of the challenges of logistics and transport across the Strait of Hormuz and the attendant changes of routes, increase in insurance, and many other attendant issues. We are working as a government to see how to mitigate and reduce the effects of the challenge we have in the Middle East. We have also been very clear to our oil marketers and those who have storage capabilities that government of Kenya is not going to entertain any artificial shortages that are meant to benefit profiteers. We are going to be very careful, working with all the stakeholders to make sure that every participant works with the conditions of their licensing to make sure that we don't exacerbate or accelerate the negative effects, but instead we work together to mitigate and minimize the effects. I have tasked the Ministry of Energy to take the lead, to work with all our suppliers, to work with the oil producers that are supplying us, and to find, if necessary, alternative sources that would mitigate any shortages. So far, we have made very good progress, and we will continue to monitor the situation, and hopefully through dialogue and other interventions, the war in the Middle East hopefully will de-escalate and come to an end as soon as possible, because otherwise it will continue to have negative effects on our economy, the regional economy, and the global economy as well. On the subject of young people, it is true that just like Mozambique, Kenya has a youthful population. It is very important that whatever it is that we do, we plan for interventions that target young people, that target our students leaving college, those leaving our TVETs, those leaving school. And that is why we are looking at how to grow our economies. The presence of His Excellency the President in our meeting yesterday was part of that plan of making sure that we increase investment into our country so that we can grow more enterprises, we expand our economy, be able to generate more jobs. Just yesterday, the investment of close to $3 billion, as was said, is going to generate 63,000 jobs over the last 2 years, over the next 2 years, adding on to all the other interventions that we have as an administration, the intervention of growing jobs using our digital ecosystem. We already have grown 300,000 jobs in that space. We are targeting 1 million jobs in the next 1 year. We've grown additional jobs in our overseas jobs program. Already 500,000 plus young people are working in overseas companies. Again, we have interventions on how to grow the pie there. We are working on public infrastructure, housing, markets, hostels, roads. Again, we have employed close to 700,000 young people in that space. We continue to do what is necessary for us to expand opportunities. When the President and I here said we are going to mobilize our officials to make sure that this visit comes up with tangible results in tourism, in agriculture, in energy. It is towards making sure that we build a much more resilient economy, build greater opportunities, grow our economies, and expand job opportunities and other opportunities for our businessmen and our young people. Also, the discussions we've had on the opportunities of gas in Mozambique will go also a long way in mitigating the effects of the conflicts that you have on our supply chain. The distance between Beira and Mombasa is just 24 hours. So that if we could unlock the gas potential in Mozambique, it would go a long way in making sure that our supply of energy products, including gas, would be much more predictable and much more cost-effective. So that is why visits like this are not just visits, they are opportunities for us to create more opportunity, to create more relationship that would benefit citizens in many aspects. So I think this is what I want to say. Mr. President, please proceed.
Thank you. I will do my speech, or I will give my answer in Portuguese.
First and foremost, about gas. We are indeed, at this moment, we have gas in Rovuma Bay. We've got 4 main projects. The first project is with ENI. And it's currently ongoing. We call it Coral South. As around $7 billion of investment. Last year, we've signed the definitive decision of investment of a project with ENI with around $7 billion. So the 2 projects of ENI, the Italian, have around $15 billion. Last year, Total, we have restarted the project that had stopped because of terrorism in Cabo Delgado. And at the end of February, we were in Cabo Delgado province to that's around $15 billion. Currently, we are working with Exxon. Total is a French company leader of the third project, and we are also working with Exxon, which is an American company. If everything goes well by July or August, we are going to sign the definitive investment decision for Exxon with around $20 billion. So we are talking in the next 10 years of investment around $50 to $60 billion in the area of gas in Mozambique. But it's important to explain that in all these projects, we do have our national company for they have participation in all these projects. For that reason, we have we will move to the top 5 producers, and this gas will be used domestically. As you all know, the gas is kind of raw material for the production of fertilizers, construction of power stations. For that reason, with His Excellency William Ruto, we were saying that our domestic gas is going to industrialize Mozambique, but it can also be exported. And in this process of exportation, our countries, the African countries and sister countries, they need to take advantage of nós temos as maiores e por causa disso sabemos que tem fábrica de cimento that use coal. We've been in Mozambique with Kenyan investors that are interested in the importation of Mozambican coal to Kenya.
E, como disse o presidente William Ruto, entre o Porto da são 24 horas. E temos também o gás, que nós estamos com um projeto de produção de pipelines.
Port as one of the points for the construction of pipelines for the exploitation of gas, and also from Cabo Delgado province. So we think that Kenya is a sister country, and this gas can also be exported from Mozambique to Kenya, and bringing advantage for our sister country and the people of Kenya. So we see Mozambique, going straight to your question from the press, we see Mozambique as an alternative, yes, for gas at a global level, but also for the continent, the African continent, and especially for our sister countries, for the development of our economies and have better life conditions for our people in the youth, and especially employment. I would like to congratulate His Excellency, Mr. President, your government and the people of Kenya, because yesterday we visited Konza, which is the smart city, which is a vision. It's a huge vision of the government of your Excellency for the youth in the near future. It's a special economic zone that is going to generate a lot of employment. It's going to generate a lot of knowledge because of the universities that are going to train not only Kenyan young people, but also African young people, including Mozambique. Currently that we've visited, Mozambique already have 65 students in Kenya. This shows clearly that for that project, you are building a Pan-African university for our young people. In Mozambique, we do have several projects for the employment of young people. Our presence here at this fourth conference of investment, International Conference for Investment in Kenya, is a concrete sign that the government of Mozambique, the government of Kenya, are working to attract investment, both foreign and national, so that we can get employment to young people. As we've heard yesterday, the investments that were announced with more than $3 billion are for areas that generate employment for young people. The area of agriculture, the area of tourism, the area of mineral resources, the area of energy, the digitalization area, transportation, logistics. So the more private investment you have in our countries, more opportunities of employment we will have for the young people. This is our vision. That's why we have accepted your invitation immediately. We want to thank the invitation by His Excellency William Ruto, my brother, because we think Kenya is in a good path and Mozambique is also in a good path. The attraction of investment and private investment is the key so that we can have employment for our young people. Areas such as agriculture, they create massive employment. Tourism create massive employment for everyone, and we are going to work together as two sister countries in order to get employment for the young people. But we also want to talk about the experience of Mozambique. We have funds like the Economic Fund for Local Development, where the districts, they manage the funds, but the management is to allocate 60% of the funds to generate small business for local young people. And the young people, they can also employ other young people for the economic development locally. We also have another fund to support young people initiatives. There are people who have business ideas in carpentry, electricity, trade, agriculture. So this fund is there to support the young people to make the SMEs grow, and based on that, generate income and employment for the young people. We are also working in technical and professional health, professional education. At the end of each course of 6 months, the young person gets a kit for carpentry, for electricity, for the area connected to civil construction, and other areas for technical professional. And with this kit that we call My Kit, My Employment, the young person can also employ other people and start their business, their micro companies that make the young people to be able to employ other young people. So we have another project with the World Bank. We call it Job Now. The objective of this project is to fund the young people. And based on this fund, the local SMEs can generate income and create employment for our young people. For our visit in Kenya, served as an exchange of experience, but also to learn. One of the things that we've seen is the way you've organized the 4th International Conference for Investment, where the $3 billion announced are going to generate more than 33,000 employment in the next 2 years. And the young people, since they are very active and they are the majority, you will employ most young people in these investments. Apart from this big city that we've seen, we are talking about the Konza, a smart city, that we think it's a huge vision for the next years for employment for young people. And we would like to congratulate Your Excellency the President, the government of Kenya, especially due to this huge vision that we have to generate employment to the young people, generate income to Mozambican families, in fact, Kenyan families. And as in Mozambique, we are working for the housing for young people. And also, we've learned with Your Excellency about the big constructions that you are doing, especially social housing for the Kenyan people and social housing for the young people. We think that it's a huge initiative, and as in Mozambique, we are doing the same. We have places where we put roads, energy, water, and we will start with the construction of social housing for our young people. To conclude, going to the last question about terrorism in Mozambique, yes, we do have terrorism in the province of Cabo Delgado. The situation is currently better than it was before. Before, we had so many areas in the north of Cabo Delgado occupied by the terrorists. Now that we're talking to you, there's no city that was occupied by the terrorists. We have managed to free the cities, and currently the populations are living normally. But the terrorists, they do some attacks in some places in the district cities in the north area of Cabo Delgado, but in the cooperation with our sister countries, including Kenya, that has a huge experience in the fight against terrorism, we managed to control the situation. As a result of this control, that the project of Total restarted. As you know, it was stopped in 2021 due to terrorism. And from there onwards, the project had stopped. But because of the improvement of the situation of terrorism in the field, the project restarted. And with Kenya, we will keep cooperating in the area of defense and security in such a way that the experience of Kenya in the fight against terrorism can also be transmitted to Mozambique. And based on that, we continue fight terrorism, which is a global problem. Terrorism is like climate change. It's a global problem. It affects all the countries, and this cooperation with Kenya is excellent, and we want to keep working so that the experience of Kenya can serve for the fight of terrorism in Mozambique. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, listening to His Excellency the President, you appreciate that he is a very persuasive person. In fact, he made a very passionate case for Mozambique yesterday in our investment conference. I was worried he might convince the investors to go to Mozambique. Have a great leader. And whatever it is that you are doing, Mr. President, in Mozambique, you've explained to us what you're doing in terms of MSMEs, trying to assist young people to do business. We call it Nyota in Kenya. We're doing exactly the same thing. And it is the right thing to do. And so, again, to say thank you very much for your visit to Kenya. We wish to keep you some more, but we know you have a job to do to our brothers and sisters in Mozambique. Therefore, we will end this session here. And thank you, everybody, for participating. Asante sana.